Hello universe, it's Gypsy. I'm gonna put makeup on while we talk. I've been following a lot of people on social media, on YouTube, in the beauty community. And last night I sat down, went in and unsubscribed to a ton of the people that I had been following, because I realized that buying makeup has become another source of addictive behavior for me. By the grace of God, I've never been addicted to drugs or alcohol. I've struggled with food all of my life. My family has as well. Food addictions. And that's something that you cannot abstain from 100%. And quite honestly, if you're working a 12-step program, you have to abstain from drugs and alcohol in their 12-step program. There are other addiction programs available that don't have criteria of 100% abstinence, like the Smart Recovery Program. They're more of a 4-step program, and they try to focus on enhancing motivation to overcome your addiction and to help you cope with the urges, and to distinguish the difference between thoughts that lead to urges, so that you can get ahead of triggers. Because triggers usually, sometimes they blindside you, but, well, most of the time they blindside you. But if you're part of the panning community, I think you've already accomplished step 1 of the 12-step program. You've already admitted that you've got an addiction and that you're powerless, and you're trying to gain back some of your power by panning. But if you haven't stopped purchasing, then you're not really on top of the problem, and that's the over-consumption of products that we are now, through the panning community, discovering exactly how long it takes to use these products. How did it start with me? I had old makeup, and I just wanted to update my look. That's how it all started. And I thought, well, you know what? I don't have time to go to the mall and have the girls put makeup on me and show me how to use it. And I'm still doing it the old school way that I've always done it. When I'm in a hurry, foundation, blush, and out the door. So I thought, well, I'll go online. And there's there's everything on YouTube. You can learn how to fix your car on YouTube. When our plumbing started giving us problems, we went online to look at how to fix our plumbing. Everything. And of course, I stumbled across the YouTube videos of the people who were not just demonstrating how to wear makeup, they were marketing as well. Products that they were using weren't products out of their that were tried and true products that they've used for years and could swear by. It was always the newest stuff on the market. They're holy grails, the stuff you had to go to. Yes, I was aware of that, but what I will tell you is if you keep watching that stuff, before you know it, you're going to be buying something. You might not be buying what they're selling, but it stimulates that in you. It stimulates those urges to have colors and to have to try different products and to have palettes. and to simply go into the departments of the stores that sell makeup. Even though you've got so much makeup, you can go through products that you haven't used in 20 years and crush them up and fill containers this size. This size. And it doesn't even make a dent in what you own from impulse buying. You'll go out and buy this much more, and I did. So at this point, I'm saying to myself, yeah, I know my makeup's old, but guess what? It's still functional. It's still usable. It has not caused problems with my skin. It applies the same. I can use what I've got, replace what I've run out of with new products. It still didn't address what I went there to do to begin with, and that was to update my look. But it sure did get me in a mess awfully quickly. And so, having been a psychiatric nurse all these years, I know that if you've got some compulsive behaviors like this going on, I have a tendency to be OCD. You've got to get on top of this quickly. And yeah, the panning community helps you use your products up, helps you see the use, but you're probably going to have to augment their use and your participation with something like a 12-step program to get the shopping part of it under control, or the Smart Recovery program under control. I'm trying to find something, I'm sorry guys, to address your triggers. You've got to have balance in your life, and if you're looking at your makeup and you're saying, yeah, but it was on sale, or yeah, but I didn't have that one color in this big palette. The yes but statements that you're making, those are what we look for in therapy to see, to bring attention to excuses and rationalizing. It's still negative behavior. And I did it too. I did it too. And I caught myself doing it. Some of the things that I found when I was scrolling around, I not only found the fantastic videos, fantastic ladies and the other panning community, I also found people who were dumpster diving in the back of Ulta, in the back of Sephora, and was shocked. Back of TJ Maxx, back of Kohl's, back of all these stores we love so much. And I was absolutely shocked to see them pulling brand new products in the box, never opened, out of there. And I said to my son, he said, "What are you binge watching?" And I told him. And he said, "Yeah, that gives you an idea of what that stuff is really worth, doesn't it, Mom?" I forgot a step. I'm sorry. I did discover a few tricks for putting on cobbled together makeup. I'm using chapstick as a primer. And yeah, I've already ordered primer. And it's going to be here probably before my birthday in October. And I don't need it, because I tried this hack. And it works beautifully. And it makes my cobbled together, crushed makeup that I have not worn in years, that I put together to kind of ease some of my guilt and worry from buying products I'd never used. The money's already wasted. Time shopping for it's already wasted. The only way to really feel better is to stop doing this. Stop wasting money, to stay on top of it. And when you have those urges to buy, step away from that trigger, which is going to be an ad, an email. Step away from media, because that's what media is for. And examine my feelings. Because you don't do compulsive behaviors for no reason. Why are you doing this to yourself, Rose? Why are you thinking that buying this palette is gonna ease that symptom, whatever that symptom is that makes you compulsively do the things that you do anyway? Now that's the hard part. Because you can't just be aware that you're doing it. You've got to be aware of the feelings that go behind it. I'm not liking what I'm doing. That's why I'm rubbing all this all over the place. And it goes on and it adheres. I'm still playing with a bunch of the colors to see what I want to do. So I'm stopping myself in my tracks. This may or may not be one of the steps in the 12 steps program. It may not be one of the steps in the Smart Recovery program, the other program I mentioned. But you have to start somewhere. Awareness is key. Insight is key. We do have insight, or we wouldn't be panning. We have got that going for us. Probably identified our triggers. That's huge in recovery. To identify your triggers is huge. And you have to examine the feelings that you're feeling. You have to look at the fantasies that you're having about the makeup. What is it that you think that palette's really going to do for you? So it's probably, I mean, you've got to get away from the marketing so that it doesn't embellish your fantasies. Make them bigger and more than what they are. You can examine all the attempts that you've made to control your addiction. Putting things in your cart but not buying it. I've done that. You gotta stay away from the sites, and you gotta delete the emails as soon as they come in. Because your rational mind is leading you away, or they wouldn't be sitting in the cart. Your rational mind is saying to you, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. But if you leave it in your cart, or you continue to go to that website, or you continue to go to the stores, you might not be able to stay under control. You might end up having outside influences that day that you binge that you don't necessarily have control over. And that's when you cave in. and you make that purchase, that product you don't need, because you went to this website just to look around. Why? Were you bored? Were you stressed? Were you, what were your feelings? You know you shouldn't go there. You know you got a problem. Right? What made you go there to begin with? Were you bored? Were you lonely? Were you home alone? Had some time? Had the idea that you should treat yourself a little? That's another thing that I'm hearing in marketing a lot. Treat yourself a little. Our houses are overflowing with things that we don't need. There's this whole minimalism movement. And it's all over YouTube as well. And watching those videos can become addictive too. I love watching those. Gosh, there's so many things I found on YouTube to occupy my time instead of living my life. Just watching TV, watching YouTube. I got a yard that I could be working in. I love gardening. I live on a farm. I've got plenty of things that I can do to occupy my time and my mind that are more productive than watching YouTube videos. I would miss the community because I like the personalities of the people who have made the videos. And it feels like a community. So maybe underneath that, the YouTube is filling a void. My son just moved into the first place that he's ever rented. And I'm going through an adjustment period, of course, of having him moved out. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing for him. It's a good thing for me. I knew it had to happen. He knew it had to happen. It was just hard. It has to do with economics, his economics. Kids are having a hard time supporting themselves these days. So I've got to stop entertaining myself, occupying my time, finding companionship, channels that trigger me to shop. It's not good for me. I'm using products that I don't like. And I'm doing that in an attempt to minimize a stash of makeup that I have that was unused. Well, it was unused because it didn't perform well. But because I spent money on it, couldn't take it back. Even though it's years old, I feel compelled to use it. And so I'm trying to figure out how to use these products. They're a mess. And I'm also trying to work my way through getting on top of this. Getting on top of the urge to shop. Even sometimes seeing pictures of people's panned products, if they're not completely panned, and you can look at the photograph of what was there, you can't help but say, wow, that's a pretty color, and fantasize about how you might use it. Fact is, you probably got something similar to it, or in the case with the ones I'm working on right now, they didn't work out. I had tons of makeup that didn't work out. Either it's a quality issue or a color issue or skin issue. And yeah, I know you can go to places like Sephora If you don't like the makeup, you can take it back, and they'll pitch it in the bin out back. They'll throw it away. It doesn't go back on the shelf or anything like that. And then the dumpster divers get it, and then I get to see that video. And they clean it up and they resell it on the internet. It's so crazy. It's all so crazy, isn't it? Think about that. It's so crazy. The whole process, all of it. It's so crazy what we've got ourselves into. So how am I going to occupy my mind in my day today instead of being up on the internet, watching YouTube videos and wasting my life, really, not getting anything accomplished, not doing anything with that time. Lord knows I got plenty of things that I could be doing. Trying to manage this harmful behavior. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to set goals for the day, make a plan for the day to avoid negative behaviors, to stay on top of negative thoughts, to have a plan if the urges hit. I think I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to run the vacuum around the house, clean up. It needs it. Not just being compulsive. Watched other people's videos and they say, you know, I got a problem, I'm a hoarder, and then they go into the room that has the makeup and it's all beautifully stored, beautifully. Even the ones, even the baseboard boxes on the floor, the stuff was separated, categorized. It was beautifully done. You're not a hoarder. You're not a hoarder. Man, it's not out of control yet. I can see where it could be in a few years. It's not out of control yet, though. So I'm going to set some goals. So that's step number 1, goals for the day. And I'm going to begin my day of recovery. And if I backslide and I don't have the balance that I want for the day and in my life, I'm going to start over. And I'm going to keep starting over and over and over. I'm also battling what I consider a sugar addiction right now. For how long has it been? Since September? August 29th, I have been doing low carb. Because my mom was a diabetic and I was realizing that I've got to get on top of it, stay on top of it. You know, awareness is not enough. I had to act. I had to get on it, and I had to stop, and I had to break my sugar addiction. And the best way that I knew to do that was to get my carbs insanely low for the day. And the first 3 days I felt bad. And after those 3 days of feeling bad, the cravings were gone. In order to reduce the carbs, I increased protein. And I don't like to eat meat. I've never liked to eat meat. It's not what I'm drawn to. I live on a farm. I grew up on a farm. My brothers are hunters. My dad was a hunter, fisherman. It's not as a result of, you know, animal cruelty, activism, or any of those things. I don't care for. I don't like the taste of meat. I've never been drawn towards meat. So that was a big adjustment. So I got some things I'm working on right now. And this is more of a get ready with me and experiment with my cobbled together makeup to see if it's presentable. But it's also hopefully food for thought. A food for thought. Should we be doing 12 steps? Should we be doing a SMART program? Because we're addressing bits and pieces of what we are aware of, that, and the panning community is wonderful, but that's not treatment. We got to do more. And I hope we can open a dialogue. I'm hoping that I can make some friends on YouTube and Facebook that understand what I'm talking about, understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm going to want support too. Just because I'm a psychiatric nurse doesn't put me above behaviors that aren't good for me. And I would love support. I would love for you guys to share your comments and have an exchange online. That would be fabulous. But I'm going to close. I feel like I've rambled. I've got a little bit of makeup on. That's part of my goal for the day, is to, just because I'm home doesn't mean I shouldn't wear it. I bought it. I paid for it. I need to wear it. I need to enjoy it. I need to learn how to work with it. So hopefully I will see you guys again. Thank you for listening.